What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Abby, or Spaceman Chuck, and today we are going to be looking at Shazam! Fury of the Gods, directed by David F. Sandberg. Shazam! Fury of the Gods starts strong. Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu as Norse gods, barging into a museum to steal a broken wizard staff, infecting the entirety of bystanders with a spell past their whispers, and then immediately cutting to Zachary Levi as Shazam, treating a pediatrician as a psychiatrist, is a bold way to start. It immediately finds inspiration from two of the most contemporary comic book filmmakers in the past couple decades, Sam Raimi and Guillermo del Toro coming to mind. It felt like a superhero movie from the early 2000s in the best way possible. Goofy, sincere, and self-assured. And as the film started, I was happy that my low expectations, much like the original film, were subverted yet again. Unfortunately, past the invigorating initial moments, film struggles to find life within its ensemble or fantasy antics. It transforms so suddenly from that confident, unique superhero tale into one that's inspired by the CGI drivel that we've come to know within this past decade. It's an extremely jarring fall that I found obnoxious and grating for a majority of its runtime, with an emphasis on a quirky attitude that greatly outstays its welcome. Shazam! Fury of the Gods works best when playing around with its ensemble of children turned superheroes. Post-pediatrician scene, Billy Batson, played by Asher Angel, returns to his foster home and catches his brother Adam Brody, played by Jack Dylan Grazer, in the midst of intercepting police chatter. As Adam wants to save the day either alone or with Billy, the latter struggles to exclude the rest of his family in their superhero endeavors. And this is where Billy's arc lies in the sequel, attempting to bring his family together as a leader. With this solid groundwork laid out, the film immediately divulges into an action comedy that falters on both fronts. With the focus on Adam this time around, the film follows him for a short couple of minutes before immediately progressing the plot along, introducing Anne, played by Rachel Zegler, as a high school peer soon revealed to be a daughter of Atlas. Much like many of these recent superhero films, Fury of the Gods is inherently afraid of letting its own characters be a part of this story world before the narrative picks up. It never allows the audience to see these characters struggling with being children while harnessing the power of 6 legendary figures, scenarios that would naturally build characterization and comedy. Save a few lines scattered throughout its 2-hour runtime, no energy is given to allow the rest of this family to go beyond their one-dimensionality. The worst, however, is with the film's treatment of Pedro, who has 2 minuscule beats within his arc. A shot of him noticing a baseball player early along in the film, and then one line of dialogue coming out to his family almost 2 hours later. It's such a weak moment of forced characterization, and though it may come from good intent, it feels inherently cheap in its execution. As far as the superhero narrative goes, it's a stale and watered down version of the most generic of films you've seen before. There's no sense of urgency within any of the disjointed beats, and the humor mostly misses, except for a joke that features an anthropomorphic Quill. Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren give their best effort, though their characters are inherently shallow. They make do with what they got. Plus, they now join Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer as legendary actors forced to work in the midst of the worst CGI backgrounds you've ever seen. That said, though most of the background work does look atrocious, they definitely did a great job with that dragon. Jack Dylan Grazer and Rachel Zegler steal the show, but once again, the quirky sentiments of the first film ramped up to 100 this time around definitely hurts the tone of the sequel. Asher Angel doesn't have enough screen time in this film either, which is a very odd choice since he really was the heart of the last film. And on the other side of the spectrum, Zachary Levi's whole shtick this time around feels a lot more annoying and leaning into fellow kids territory, and the film would have honestly benefited with his alter ego in the spotlight. At the end of the day, this feels like a cobbled together sequel with a bunch of parts that just don't quite fit together. Shazam 2019 functions so well due to its sheer simplicity and breath of fresh air within a tired genre. Fury of the Gods, however, rolls over and allows it to fall back into the murky CGI trappings that I was hoping it would avoid. So anyway, anyways, with all that said, I'm gonna have to give Shazam! Fury of the Gods a 1.5 stars out of 5. This really was not for me. I mostly went to it because I was very surprised with the first one, but the sequel just feels so disjointed and unfunny to me, and you can definitely tell they struggled to make this during COVID, which I don't blame them for, but it's not a good movie at the end of the day. I think it will find an audience with the younger crowd. But once we've had superhero movies and big budget blockbusters like The Batman and Avatar: The Way of Water, going back to something like this feels so disappointing at the end of the day. And even when we had solid blockbusters already this year like Creed 3 and Scream 6, Shazam! Fury of the Gods just doesn't even compete with what it's trying to accomplish. But anyways, I don't want to rag on the movie too much. At the end of the day, it's just not for me, and that's totally fine. But you know what will be for me, hopefully, is John Wick Chapter 4 that comes out soon, so I am looking forward to that, and hopefully that will be my next review. So thank you for watching, everybody. My name is Obby, or Spaceman Chuck. Leave a like, subscribe, it really helps me out, and I will see you next time. Stay tuned.